because the lender has said this, on the money, on the bailout money, there's going to be some that's going to lose their homes in this process. But there's money for those who do. Okay, I get it. Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you work with all lenders?
All of them.
Because I experienced one saying, I cannot deal with this lender, I'm returning the paper to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can work on all lenders.
All lenders. You know the lenders police.
Okay. In this program, do the banks lose money? They're given bailout, so of course. Actually, they don't.
What we're after is the bank to lose the least amount of money possible. I think our plan helps the bank leave at the table the least amount of money. You don't have to get an attorney. You don't have to fight a foreclosure. You don't have to spend $70,000 to kick someone out of the house when you have someone saying, work with us. Here's what we want to do. Take the $70,000 off of the principal instead of taking the $70,000 to fight us in court. So we're giving the lenders an alternative. Yes, sir.
Question, with Homekeepers, obviously you guys are not, you're affiliated with attorneys, but you are not an attorney.
We are an advocate service.
Advocate service.
Yes.
So my question is, when you're doing loan modifications with these lenders, let's say for example, looking at reviewing the loan documents, you find violations that they performed, and you call them on, and they say, well, they don't bluff, meaning you call them bluff, and they say, well, we're not going to modify.
I've never had that happen. Once we call the bluff, they concede to put us in the office of the president at Countrywide. They concede to put us in the executive services at EMC.
Okay.
We get to the next level that you don't even know that's at the banks.
So they don't even, so you're not in, they're not even trying to test you, say, let's go to court. They're saying.
Would you test someone that you train? Really?
Right.
Would you test someone that you train that has every certificate that you have to offer? Would you test them?
Right.
When we've already passed the test to get the certificates? Or would you concede that on this end you caught, and let's just go ahead and let them have theirs because some's not going to get theirs?
And then they work with. Okay.
Yes.
I have two questions. First of all, seeing the people that are here are in the same situation, can you handle all of these people that they won't go in foreclosure? And do you prioritize the cases as they come to you? Because some people are in a worse situation than others. And the second part of that, if you have somebody that has tried to work with the lender to modify the loan, and what the lender did was modify the loan to their advantage, so you will pay them more and not less.
Correct.
How do you weed out that process to get to the guts of what's at the bottom?
First of all, if you receive a package that's not a fixed rate, that's
Absolutely.
not giving you a benefit, we don't have you sign that package.
Okay.
We go back to the lender and send that package back to the lender and say, this is not what you agreed to the president and Congress to do.
Okay.
Okay?
And you have some type of priority system?
The priority is if you're in notice of default or you're in foreclosure trouble right now, you're first.
Okay.
You're before the I'm current and need help.
Okay.
Yes.
We just got a loan modification. Can still do, but it's still on the old, the current value of the.
So that's why you're sitting there quiet. You're one of the ones who come into my web, says the spider to the fly.
No.
You,
No, because in the first place to the office of the loan modification, they told us they can reduce it to the actual market value of the.
and they didn't do it.
They didn't do it. We were given a 5-year fix with a lower interest, but on the same value of the house, the previous, the existing loan.
So you were given another failed product that we would not allow because the lenders say they're no longer doing subprime lending. I mean, that's just what we stand on. The lender states they're no longer doing subprime loans.
Right.
Yet, you have another option arm.
5 years, only 5 years.
You're back to square one.
You're back to square one. And that's exactly what we go back and show them. How can you put this client in this position? How can you do this to this client, knowing that it's a failed product, first of all.
So you can still do it.
Yes.
To reduce the principal the market value.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
If you are out of the house and the house goes up for sale, can you still do something about it, or do you have to actually?
If you are out of the house, explain out of the house.
Well, let's say for instance, the bank takes you out of the house, they actually, they foreclose on you.
Okay.
And the house is still, they just put it up on the market. And is there anything that you can do about that? Like say,
I first of all would ask you, how did the bank do that?
they had somebody go to the door, knock on the door, and offer money.
Cash for keys.
Yes, it's
You had a renter in your property.
yeah. Well, actually, it's one of my friends, family, just a neighbor of mine, and they went and they knocked on the door, and they offered him $2,500, and they put $60,000 down on their house, and they were out maybe like in a week. He still showed up and told them that he wasn't going to release a check until the house was clean. So they had the family cleaning the house, released the $2,500 to them, and they were out.
Okay. A couple of illegal things happen in that. Okay. If the owner was never contacted, if the owner was never taken to court for an unlawful detainer, if the owner had no idea what was going on, that was an illegal act what they did. So what the owner needs to do is to file charges against that lender. And the realtors that come and knock on your door, unless those realtors are have taken you to court, first of all, with an unlawful detainer, tell the realtor you're calling the police. They'll leave. Yes.
That's a question. Once Homekeepers is involved with a lender, can you give us an average timeline in resolving the situation?
3 months to a year. If an attorney involved, we get an attorney involved after that, it's another 2 years on to that possibly.
And is the attorney, is that part of your services?
Referral.
It's a referral you make,
Yes.
and we would pay for the attorney?
Correct.
Can you give us an average price for the attorney?
Well, the last we spoke with the attorney, he was charging $3,500 to file the charges and complaints.
Can you go into foreclosure during that period?
I am familiar with the cash for keys process because I am a realtor, and I visit so many people and knock on their doors, and I do offer cash for keys. But by the time I do so, we go to title, and title already reverts over to the bank. Now, a lot of the owners, most of them are aware because we do contact the owners. When we go on to title, their name and their phone number is on there. They are the first people we talk to. And they say we don't want anything to do with it, and a lot of tenants are they don't know what's going on until it's too late, basically. But when title reverts over to the bank, the tenants are sort of trespassing. And that's when the bank does offer cash for keys. And yes, they are given a time limit. You know, they sign a move-out agreement. And yes, we're going to give you this much for when you leave. You have to leave within this time period or before this date. And the property must be in broom-swept condition, meaning everything out and everything has to be clean. Now, when they give me the keys, that's when I give over the check. But my question to you is, how are these tenants protected in a way? I mean, this is the only, everything, some of them try to sue us. You know, they try to call the police, as you say, but the banks still win. And I feel bad for these people.
The bank still wins because you go in first. Once you get into a situation, have you ever knocked on the door and someone told you to get off their property, that they're going to call the police on
I have
you?
had some.
Have you gone back to the lender and the lender told you don't do anything more with that property because they're going to take them to court?
Well, first of all, we don't do anything at all to the property until the tenants leave.
Right.
Never do we do anything
Right,
until the tenants leave.
and I'm saying possession's 9/10 of the law. Just because you knock on the door with that check offer, they're supposed to tell you that they're gonna call the police on you, tell your lender to take us to court because we're in America, and the only thing you're doing is you're getting a bridge to the lender to save the lender money from taking us to court to fight for our home.
Well, the thing
Now,
is,
hold on. the tenant at that time is an illegal act. That's not the owner of that property. You should not be allowed to go to someone who's not an owner of that property and make any kind of a deal. So the lender even have you believing you're doing something correct when you are breaking the law.